You're thinking about a trip to Istanbul, but that little voice in your head is whispering about your bank account. You've seen the pictures, right? The impossibly grand mosques, the shimmering Bosphorus, the kaleidoscope of colors in the Grand Bazaar. It looks like the trip of a lifetime, but then the doubt creeps in. You start thinking about the real cost of flights, hotels, and everything else in the sprawling megacity of over 16 million people. You hear whispers online from the friends that prices are skyrocketing and the days of a super cheap Turkish adventure are gone. You start imagining your savings just draining away before you even taste your first real piece of baklava. Well, what if we told you that that's not the whole story? What if you could experience the soul of this incredible city, the rich history, its mouth-watering food, its vibrant culture, and its even more amazingly humble people without needing a trust fund? In this video, we're going to show you the truth. We just spent 10 days. 7 were unexpected due to my husband's surgery, exploring every corner of Istanbul on a budget most people would think is impossible. And we're sharing not just our story, but the secrets we learned along the way. This isn't just another list of tips. This is the guide to Istanbul we'd wished we'd had. And it's going to change everything you thought you knew about visiting this city on a budget with your family. The biggest myth about Istanbul is that because it's like a world-class city, it has to have a world-class price tag. It's just like London or Paris, and yeah, you can absolutely spend a fortune here if you want to. There are 5-star hotels with Bosphorus views and the fancy tasting menus that could cost more than your flight alone. But that really isn't the real Istanbul. We landed with a modest budget and one mission: to see if it was still possible to have a deep, authentic, and unforgettable experience without going broke. The reality? We found the city that is surprisingly, wonderfully accessible. It's a city that rewards the curious and the smart traveler. It's not just the wealthy one. Our journey proved that travel isn't just for the rich, and Istanbul is the ultimate proof. Start with the biggest expense on any trip: accommodations. The myth is that to be safe and central in Istanbul, you've got to shell out for an expensive hotel in Sultanahmet, the historic heart of the city. You picture yourself either paying €100 a night for a decent room or ending up with the same questionable hostel miles from anything that matters. We had that exact fear. Honestly, the search for a place to stay was daunting. Every blog seemed to recommend boutique hotels with prices that made our eyes water. But here's the truth. Your home in Istanbul can be one of the most exciting and affordable parts of your trip, if you just know where to look. We decided to look beyond the tourist-packed bubble of Sultanahmet. Our search led us to a neighborhood that completely transformed our experiments: Bomonti, on the European side. It's more of a local neighborhood with a strong business hub. It wasn't just a place to sleep. It's a vibrant, living part of the city, brimming with local life, incredible food, businesses, creative energy that you just won't find next to the major monuments. So what's the biggest travel myth you've ever busted? Or what's a budget travel secret you've learned in your own adventures? Let us know in the comments below. In a neighborhood like this, the accommodation landscape is completely different. During our extended stay, we stayed on the European side due to the proximity of the hospital for my husband, but visited the Asian side on a local boat tour of the Bosphorus Strait. We did end up getting a room upgrade at the end of our stay since we had to prolong our visit 3 different times. And when they realized it was because of my husband's surgery and we were alone with 4 kids, they actually upgraded us from 2 connecting rooms to 1 large room with 2 bedrooms, a mini sort of kitchen, 2 bathrooms, and a dining room, and a high level for the exact same cost of our previous 2 rooms. So the solution is simple. Expand your map, look at neighborhoods like Karakoy with its cool cafes, the proximity to Galatia Tower, or the sprawling, authentic market hub. You'll not only have a huge chunk of your budget, but you'll get a much richer, more genuine experience of Istanbul. Your accommodation can be more than just a place to sleep. It can be your first step into the real soul of the city. The second big fear for any traveler visiting a city with massive scale is the transportation. You look at a map of Istanbul, a city that literally straddles 2 continents, and the sheer scale is intimidating. The myth is that you'll be constantly lost, forced into expensive taxis that are notorious for scamming tourists. That huge chunk of your daily budget will be eaten up with just getting from point A to point B. Make sure to ask what the price is before you get into the cab and if they take card or only accept cash. We learned that the hard way. But we're here to tell you that getting around Istanbul is not only incredibly easy, but it is also one of the most shockingly affordable and enjoyable parts of the experience. The secret is one little piece of plastic, the Istanbul card. The card is your golden ticket to the entire city. Forget buying single ride tickets. The Istanbul card is a rechargeable card that you can use in the metro, the trams, buses, and best of all, the ferries. You can easily grab it at the airport. With it, the city just opens up. You can buy the card itself for a small fee, about 80 to 70 Turkish lira, and then top it up at machines all throughout the city. A single ride on the tram or metro costs between 17 to 27 lira, which is well under $1. On days where you might be zigzagging across the city, you can keep it around €4 to €5 total on your transportation cost. The T1 tram line will become your best friend. It snakes right through all the major historical sides of the European side, from the Grand Bazaar past the Blue Mosque, the Hagia Sophia, across the Glacier Bridge, and all the way to Karakoy. It's efficient, clean, and filled with locals, giving you a slice of daily life with every single ride. But the real magic of Istanbul's public transport isn't just the rails, it's actually on the water. The public ferries, or vapors, are the lifeblood of the city for a budget traveler. They are a 2-for-1 deal. They're cheap transport and the best Bosphorus cruise you could ever ask for. We actually opted for a ride across a city tour for under €10 each, with 3 kids being free, but it wasn't a ferry. We actually got to see dolphins swimming with the boat. You can journey to Europe to Asia. We sat on the open-air deck sipping hot tea we bought on board for a few lira and watched the entire historical peninsula glide by. The domes of the mosque, the silhouette of Topkapi Palace, and Glacier Tower in the distance. It's a view people pay a fortune for on private tours, and we got it for less than the price of a coffee back home. A word of caution though, the myths about taxis can often be true. While apps have made things a bit better, scams are still a reality. Drivers might forget the meter, take you on a ridiculously long scenic route, or add credit card machine fees to the end total. We did use taxis more than we imagined, but only due to my husband having surgery and needing a quicker route. The Istanbul cart makes taxis almost completely unnecessary, so embrace public transport. Let the ferry be your tour boat and tram for your chariot. It's not a hassle, it's a core part of the Istanbul experience, and it will save you a fortune. All right, let's talk about the best part, the food. This is where Istanbul truly shines, but it's also where a lot of budget travelers get nervous. The myth is that to eat well, you have to sit down at the tour facing restaurants in Sultanahmet, or the fancy rooftop spots with Bosphorus views, where one meal can blow your entire day's budget. You might resign yourself to a sad diet of nothing but questionable doner kebabs. The truth is that much more delicious eating on a budget in Istanbul is not a sacrifice, it's an upgrade. It's how you find the most authentic, flavorful, and memorable food the city has to offer. Our mission was to eat like locals, to find the authentic, flavorful, and memorable food the city actually has to offer. Our mission was to eat like locals, and it led us on a culinary adventure that cost shockingly little, a budget of 15 to 25 euros per person. It's more than enough to feast your way through the city. Your day starts with the perfect breakfast. Forget the overpriced hotel buffet. Just walk to any street corner and you'll find the simit card. Simit is a Turkish bagel. It's a ring bread covered with sesame seeds, which is like a quintessential Istanbul breakfast. It's crispy, chewy, and costs next to nothing. Grab one of those with a small cup of Turkish tea, and you've had one of the true Istanbul breakfasts for under $1. For lunch, your secret weapon is a tradesman restaurant. Humble spots that serve prepared, home-style Turkish food. There's no fancy menus. You walk up to the counter, point at what looks good. Usually it's like hearty lentil soup, rich vegetable stews, chicken that's nice and tender, and flavorful rice, and they'll plate it up for you. A filling, nutritious, and incredibly tasty meal will rarely cost you more than 6 to 12 euros. And that's where the local workers eat. So you know it's both good and affordable. But the real heart of budget eating is the street food. It's a universe of flavor. And the evenings, you have to try mussel stuffed with herbed rice, sold from carts where you're just keep ordering them one by one. Near the Galatia Bridge, you have to get a grilled fish sandwich that is simple, fresh perfection. These are thin and crispy, also Turkish pizzas that you can find for a couple of euros almost anywhere. And for a late night snack, there is the infamous wet burger. It's like a garlicky, saucy creation that is bizarrely addictive. And the sweets. You can get a slice of incredible baklava from a local shop for a fraction of what you pay at a tourist trap. You would often go to a small shop, point a few different kinds of things, and walk away with a box that would last us for days. The key is to be adventurous, follow your nose, and if you see a crowd of locals lined up at the window or a cart, get in that line. It's where you're gonna find the good stuff. Eating on a budget does not mean you're gonna be hungry. It means you might be eating better and more authentically. Okay, let's get the big ticket items, the major attractions. The myth is that the entrant fees in for Istanbul's famous world sites are absolutely going to drain your budget. You see the prices, the newly implemented €25 fee for tourists at Hagia Sophia's upper gallery, the Topkapi Palace, the Basilica Cistern, and you start thinking that experiencing history is a luxury you can't even afford. This was a huge concern for us too. But the glorious truth about Istanbul is that so much of the history, culture, and beauty is completely free. You just have to balance your must-pay attractions with the countless fees of wonders. Let's look at the real numbers. As of late 2025, Topkapi Palace is about 45 to 50 euros, and the stunning Basilica Cistern is only around 18 to 20 euros. While it's not free, these are much more manageable than the inflated prices you might hear about. First, the mosque. Well, Hagia Sophia has a new fee for tourists. Many of the city's other architectural marvels are still free to enter outside of prayer times. The Blue Mosque is a free and awe-inspiring experience. There is also the virtual museum connected with the Hagia Sophia, which might have been our family's favorite part. They pretty much teach you history using movie clips while you work your way through different rooms, and all of the ages are stay connected and engaged. Walking is also a world-class free activity here. You spend the entire days just getting lost in the city's historic neighborhoods. You can wander through the colorful hilly streets of Balat and Fener with the old Greek and Jewish quarters with their brightly painted houses and antique shops. It feels like you step into another dime, and it doesn't cost you a single lira. Of course, the Grand Bazaar and the Spice Market are free to enter. You don't have to buy a thing. Just wandering the alleys, taking in the sights, the sounds, the smells is an attraction itself. Our strategy for the paid sites was to be selective. We picked one or two that were the most important to us and budgeted for them. For us, that was Topkapi Palace and the Hagia Sophia. We dedicated a chunk of our budget for a day to experience those, and it was absolutely worth it. So by balancing one big experience over several days of free experiences, you didn't feel like it was a constant drain. And for those planning to visit many state-run museums, just know that you can get a museum pass. Every big city has tourist traps, but in a place that's bustling like Istanbul, the tourist traps can feel especially intimidating. The myth is that a foreigner, you're an easy target and you're gonna get ripped off, but that's not always true. Do not only listen to the voices and the wind. So just know that once you know what you're looking for, you can avoid the tourist trap surprisingly easy. Your superpower here is knowledge. Knowing the common traps, you can sidestep them with confidence. We walked through 5 truths we live by. You can stay safe, affordable, and authentic places outside the tourist center. You can navigate the vast city for pennies using its incredible public transport. You can eat like royalty by embracing street food and local eateries. You can soak in centuries of history with most of the best experiences being absolutely free. You can confidently sidestep tourist traps and connect with the city's true spirit. Travel is not and should never be just for the wealthy. Istanbul provides this. The richness of our journey wasn't measured by how much we spent. It was measured in the quiet moments, the taste of the fresh smit in the morning air, the breathtaking skyline from the boat, the echo of the call to prayer from the Suleiman mosques, the shared laughter with at the local mosque when your family really needs to use a bathroom that treated your children like their own. These are the moments that build wealth in your memory, and they cost next to nothing. Our journey was a testament to the idea that with a little curiosity and smart planning, the world is more accessible than you think. We came back with our savings largely intact, and we were far richer in experience. So if you're dreaming of Istanbul but are held back by the cost, let this be your sign. The city is waiting for you in all of its chaotic, beautiful, and surprisingly affordable glory. If this video has helped you, and if you believe travel should be for everyone, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that challenge the way we think about travel. Thanks for watching. Happy travels.